Do you like the Oakland A's? Are you a fan of the Golden Knights? Do you love the Los Angeles Chargers? Well then, my friend, you're in the right place. This is the Snake Sports Talk Show with your host, Jake the Snake Silva, brought to you by the Spotlight Sports Network.
Bolt Gang, what is going on? It's your boy Jake the Snake Silva here from the Snake Sports Talk Show on the Spotlight Sports Network, giving you guys another uploaded video here. If it's your first time, I definitely highly recommend like, subscribing, following, and also hit the bell button for all latest notifications on everything Chargers, live play-by-play, highlights, news, talks, analysis, and so much more here on the Snake Sports Talk Show. So we're coming here with another video, and Charger fans, the time has finally come. The Chargers have officially found their next head coach, and their next hiring that they have at the helm is defensive coordinator from the LA Rams, Brandon Staley. Now, Brandon Staley, there is a lot to really say about him and, of course, the work that he has done with the Rams in 2020. But we definitely want to break down at least a little more to get to know about our new head coach. Now, Brandon Staley, what's interesting about this, and the defense was number one in all of the NFL. But what's most important that I think he brings an added amount of juice and, of course, some big-time confidence for the Chargers defense moving forward. But these were some stats that I thought that was very interesting about what the Rams' success has been that could potentially be the Chargers' success moving for next year. The Rams are the only defense that did not allow a deep pass this whole season and are tied with the Steelers for the most interceptions on deep passes. That is 5 of them. So much like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the LA Rams, they have a lot of really good secondary guys like Troy Hill, Darius Williams, and of course, Jalen Ramsey. And a lot of these guys have been playing hard, and they've also been very precise and aware of where the quarterback is throwing the ball, who is his intended target, and of course, we're converting those into big-time turnovers to getting their offense on the field. So the Rams' deep ball defense, they were first in every single one of these categories. They were first in opponent's completion percentage, first in yards per attempt, first in passer rating, and of course was first in CPOE. So that means when it comes to the deep ball for some of these opposing quarterbacks and for opposing offenses, it's not as easy to get through as people think. And that was what the Rams have done very, very well with a bunch of really good secondary players, and is what the Chargers are hoping that they can reshape. Now, of course, this Chargers team, we already know the offense is unbelievable, but the defense has been completely mediocre, and not to mention the special teams play has not been solid. Staley definitely brings a huge amount of juice for this defense, and with his smart mind. Now, he's a young coach at 38 years old, and you have to think about all these young coaches around in the league. There's him, there's Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, and then there's Sean McVay, his former coworker as well, and his boss in LA with the Rams, that has really served well for the offense. Now, in the first year for Brandon Staley as a Rams defensive coordinator, after they finished first, they were also first in the fewest total yards allowed and were also on passing defense. Plus, they were also ranked third in rushing defense and scoring defense. So what does this tell you? Well, a lot of the pieces and a lot of the weapons that the Rams defense had. They had Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers, and so much more on the front line, and they were able to get pressures through the offensive line. Think about what the Chargers do have in place. They got Joey Bosa, they got Jerry Tillery, they have Justin Jones, Linval Joseph, and so many other names. And, of course, could bring the absolute best out of rookie linebacker Kenneth Murray. Now, Kenneth Murray, of course, as I've said before when the draft happened, he's another Darius Leonard, a guy who is a high-motor linebacker, a guy that will get to the football any way that he can and make big-time stops. So Brandon Staley having third in rushing defense is one that speaks a lot of volumes, and not to mention being placed first in pass defense. The scoring defense is also a big time help as well, because think about how many times that the Chargers have given up their leads, and mostly because the defenses were not holding it together. Not to mention having Gus Bradley as the defensive coordinator, who's now with the Las Vegas Raiders. So Staley will be bringing that type of shutdown defense that he had with the Rams here to the Chargers defensive core. And this is also going to help with their secondaries. Now, what I've been told, and reports are saying that with Staley in the Chargers organization, you may expect a couple of teams that are a couple of players that are actually going to move in his direction. Now, some of those may involve Troy Hill, maybe John Johnson. There are a bunch of real good names from the Rams organization that may make the initial change because of how well that Brandon Staley has been coaching. This is what Jalen Ramsey had to say about Brandon Staley, as I have it written here, is he is the best coach he has ever played for. That speaks a lot of volumes to a top corner and top safety in the NFL. Also calling him a genius. Sean McVay, the head coach, ended up acknowledging that he might be the only guy that's more obsessed about football than I am. So this has been really, really good positive stuff. And Brandon Staley, he was one of my number 2 options as far as head coaching position, because a lot of us, including myself, were hoping that Brian Daboll would have came into this office. But if you really think about it and you actually break down the pieces, the Chargers' problems was never on offense. Because once Justin Herbert came into the scene, he's unbelievable. He's proven that he can throw you deep balls. He can end up throwing accurate passes and get the ball moving. And the rush was also very effective as well. Austin Eckler came back after injury. Kalen Ballage filled in a great time. And we're hoping by next year we'll see a lot more touches and we'll see a lot more rushes from Josh Kelly as well for next year. Now, the offense, of course, we're hoping that they keep Shane Steichen and they keep Pep Hamilton. Either one of them, because both of them right now are being set to have interviews for other OC jobs elsewhere. But if they could keep at least either both or one or the other, this could help the comfortability for Justin Herbert, because these guys have worked with him and have said a lot of great things about Justin and what he brings to the table. Pep Hamilton, being a quarterback whisperer, knows Justin Herbert and he knows all of his strengths and his struggles. So keeping either one of those guys would help. And by the way, Shane Steichen was able to lead this offense to being a number 8 offense in the league, one of the top 10 bests, but unfortunately couldn't be able to win those close games. That's why I believe that the Chargers making this move for defense was exactly the right move. If you think about how many coaches have been in this Chargers organization, in the last 10 hires, only 9 of them were offensive-minded. That was Norv Turner, Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, and so on and so forth. But only one of them was defensive, and I think all of you guys know. Marty Schottenheimer was a big-time defensive coordinating coach, and he was a very defensive-minded person. So, of course, none of us will ever understand why in a year in 2006 he was fired after going 14-2, which seemed like it was the missing link for the Chargers to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. This may be the second chance for them with Brandon Staley, and with all of the good reports and with all of just his background and what he brings to the table, I think this is a brighter future for the Chargers moving forward. That doesn't just stop there, but the Chargers ended up announcing more of their coaching staff, as former Las Vegas Raiders tight end coach Frank Smith is going to be jumping on with the Chargers, and he has a huge influence, by the way. As a tight end coach, was the reason Darren Waller was successful, and not to mention also having the veteran leadership of Jason Witten. So what he brings to that table in Frank Smith is emerging Hunter Henry. It's getting the absolute best out of him, because there were a couple of times that Hunter Henry has gone down in injuries, but has been able to bounce back in any way, shape, or form. And that's what's going to be important for the Chargers. Now, not only that, but he'll also have control when it comes to the offensive line and when it comes to the running backs. The offensive line is a big must for the Chargers, and this is where they're trying to do all they can to protecting Justin Herbert at all costs and also making it effective on the run when needed. This Chargers team is going to have an absolute positive influencing now with having Brandon Staley in the front in the organization and bringing amongst all of his staff with him to help make this thing cook. This is what I think is going to be really, really good for the Chargers. It's a happy day for all of us Charger fans. And like that, because of all of our struggles in the last 2 seasons and even far beyond, the time is now where the Chargers have to be competitive. They have got to end up making the change needed to be a competitive team and maybe at some point shoot for the Super Bowl and getting into the playoffs. I thank you guys so much for joining me here and, of course, watching this uploaded video. I will have more and more Chargers content for you guys in the coming days, but definitely check me out here at the Snake Sports Talk Show. Like, follow, subscribe, and hit the bell button for all latest notifications on everything live stream play-by-plays, highlights, news talks, and so much more on everything LA Chargers. Have a great day, guys, and always remember to bolt up.